Hello guys, it's Tropic Hippo aka Hippopotamus, and I'm bringing you another build here today, and this one is my Headhunter Aces and Eights build, and it's quite an interesting one for PvE. I wouldn't advise really running it in PvP, but as all things, let's start with the specialisation tree and move from there. With no surprise, as it's a sniper build, we're using the marksman specialisation, and that is because of the medkit that it gives us, the increased headshot damage and stability and accuracy, extra headshot damage for the group, and a little bit of extra armor when you sit in cover. Most importantly is the ammo regeneration, which we're going to allow us to get a little bit of ammo back when we're in cover. The marksman rifle is synergized, so that's great. And we also sort of use two sniper rifles, so that is the main reason why the ammo regeneration is quite important. So let's go down to the range, take a look at the range, and we'll see the difficulty. Then I'll go through the build, talk about the weapons and the attachments, and then I'll move into the range, give you advice on how to use the build, and then we'll go through the stat sheet, and that should wrap this particular build up. So, starting with the build itself, I'm using the Commando. I'm using the Headshot Express 3 Holo with a tightly packed marksman, stability on the muzzle. This particular version gives me weapon damage at 12%, which obviously I can optimise to 15%. Headshot damage, which is the most important thing that we're going to be rolling throughout, so please bear that in mind from the start. And a little bit of armour damage, okay? So the other weapon I'm using is the Mantis. This gives me marksman rifle, headshot damage, and damage to targets out of cover. The talent on this particular weapon is in plain sight, so what that's going to do is when I'm scoped into enemies, I'm going to gain additional information about them. Headshots and weak points damage against enemies is amplified by 50% if they're not looking at you, which is a lot. Headshot kills reset the cooldown of the decoy, so basically you're going to throw your decoy out, and that synergizes nicely with your skill. Just to have a quick walkthrough on the talent on the Commando, I'm using Perfectly Naked, and when you hit a target with no armor, it grants 50% headshot damage for 8 seconds, which is really important because that synergizes nicely with the build. For the pistol, I'm using the Mozambique Special, and it has pistol damage and damage to armor again. And the talent is Perfect Breadbasket. Landing body shots adds a stack of 50% headshot damage to the next target for 10 seconds. So you can see from all our weapons, we're actually aiming for headshot damage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the gear set first, and then I'll talk about the other two items second. So to start off with, we're wearing one piece of Ace and Eights mask, and what that's rolled into is weapon damage and headshot damage. Now, very importantly, you want to prioritize headshot damage because of one of the talents that we're using. But for all pieces, again, we're just going for weapon damage and headshot damage. I have Aces and Eight knee pads, Aces and Eights gloves, Aces and Eight masks, as you've seen before, and Aces and Eight backpack. Now, the reason I've gone for the backpack is just for the talent, and that gives me one extra shot when revealing my hand, which synergizes with the Dead Man's Hand talent. Wearing two pieces of Aces and Eights gives us 15% extra marksman rifle damage, which is great. 3 pieces gives us headshot damage, which is what we require for the talent that we're going to go through in just a moment. And 4 pieces gives us flip a card when landing shots and a marksman rifle. And basically after 5 cards are flipped, your damage is amplified by 30%. More shots are enhanced the better the hand revealed. So basically what that's saying is if you get 4 of a kind, you get 4 shots, but with the backpack we get 5. With a full house we get 3 shots, with the backpack we get 4. Aces and Eights gets 2 shots, but with the backpack we get 3, which is at that 30% amplified damage. For the chest piece, the reason why we're stacking up so much headshot damage is because of this talent. So it's the Chain Killer named Walker and Harris chest piece, and basically what it does is it gives you a talent where when you kill an enemy with a headshot, the next weapon hit within 30 seconds deals an additional 150% of that killing blow's damage. The damage is capped to 800% of your weapon's damage, but it's raised to 1,250 if your headshot damage is higher than 150, and very importantly, that is why we're trying to reach that cap. The chest piece is actually rolled into weapon damage and has a complement of weapon handling, headshot damage, and a headshot damage mod. The weapon handling is quite nice because we have a little bit of that on the holster as well, so when we're spam firing either the SVD or just shooting, we actually get a little bit of accuracy, stability, and reload speed from all the stats. We get 8% weapon handling at the Gun City Dodge City Slinger, and the headshot damage is 10% with 15% weapon damage. Sorry for the stutter there. Quick Draw is the talent on this particular piece, and what it does is when you pull out your pistol, you will do additional damage based on how many stacks you've built up from holstering the weapon. You get up to 100 stacks, and basically it consumes the buff whether you miss or hit, and increases the damage 10% every stack, and it deals headshot damage anywhere you hit. Okay, so it's quite nice with that, and like I say, this is more based for PvE. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to set up the range just to reflect the situation that you're going to see happen, and give us an idea of the best way to use this build. So to bear in mind that we're using weapons that give us headshot damage, so the first thing to do is take a look at the Nemesis. Should we walk into a room that have a mixed bag of enemies, we've got purples, reds, golds, and a boss. We're going to throw our decoy out to remove the attention from ourselves, which is quite important, and always start with the weak enemies. We kill one enemy and build up headshot damage off that enemy, move on to the next enemy and get headshot damage off that enemy, go to the harder enemy, the gold, and then eventually up to the boss. And by the time we actually start hitting the boss, we're hitting for very, very big numbers. We're hitting for much higher damage. We're hitting for like 17 million. So as you can see, that's the kind of damage that you'd probably hit with a Nemesis charged up without Headhunter. So if you keep killing targets, that's great. Now, the way that we can keep this bonus up, there's a couple of ways. So obviously we have our Nemesis to hit targets, and we can hit quite hard with that. The other way is that we can pull out the next weapon, which is the Commando. The Commando is really nice because it gives us a defensive option for enemies that are pushing and trying to get close, but we can actually chain the headshot damage off this particular talent to give us 50% extra headshot damage. So let's just hit this target. Once all the health is armor's gone and we're down to health, you'll see that I've got like an upside down leaf, which means I've got 50% extra headshot damage. And again, I'm flipping cards by shooting an enemy, so we're actually getting the aces and eights bonus. So let's shoot this target a few times and see what kind of damage we can get with this. Okay. So we're looking at about 5 million, and then 3 million every other shot, so that's quite impressive. So the next thing I'm going to do is, should an enemy get close, and you've nearly finished the target, or you know, got most of the way there, if I pull out the pistol now, which is charged up, okay, 5 million on a headshot, and obviously we can chain the breadbasket to hit them in the head, hitting for 1 million with a pistol in the head. So, you know, the pistol's going to be a quite viable solution if enemies get close, or you just need to quickly finish them off. And we can actually get Headhunter from the pistol. So you can leave that sat charging whenever you need it, and you can have that as a viable backup. You also have your SVD for enemies getting close, which you can chain the headshot damage off, and then simply switch weapon, and you know, off you go. You're ready for hitting targets. Maybe not for quite as much, but once you kill them after that one, that's going to get you full stacks of damage, and you're right back up to where you were again. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea of how to use the build. What I'm going to do is just quickly go through the stat sheet so you can copy any stats out here that will help you, and I will talk you through anything that might be important out of the stat sheet. Okay, so starting with the weapons here, we can see that headshot damage is 263%, which is really important again for hitting that talent on the chest piece when you're over 150%. But headshot damage is extremely important on this build. Okay, low armor at 726, so remember you're squishy. There's not a lot of armor, so you do need to keep your head down. And for the talents, just to quickly run through, on the Reviver Hive we have revived armor, range and health, and on the holographic distraction we have health and duration. Okay, so that's going to wrap up this build. Hopefully you can take this, copy it, make it better, or use it and have a lot of fun with it. I wouldn't advise it in PvP, like I say, try and use it in PvE. And hopefully this is something that you're going to get a little bit of fun out of, and it's going to be a bit different when you're playing, and it's going to be something that you might enjoy a little more than just using a damage build or a skill build. So thanks for watching, please subscribe. This is Hippo, and I'm signing out for this one. Catch you next time.